So today's video I'm going to be talking all about gender swaying, what it is, and what methods we tried to gender sway for a girl. If you're new to my channel, thank you for clicking on this video, thanks for watching. Or if you're one of my very few subscribers, thank you for subscribing and for tuning in. So, gender swaying. Basically what gender swaying is, just a very general gist of it, is when you use specific methods to try to have a boy or a girl doing natural things. It's great for people who aren't dead set on one or the other, who just think, oh yeah, it would be fun to have this gender, but you'd be fine either way. So what I'm going to be talking about today is gender swaying for a girl. So a little bit of my backstory. We have a 4-year-old son. He was 3 at the time this all started, but he's 4 now. And when he was just a little over 3, we started talking about the possibility of having another baby. We were really on the fence, and I went back and forth on whether or not we thought we wanted to add a second baby to our family. My husband and I were both pretty sure that if we had another baby, we would like to try for a girl. He's from a family of 5 brothers, and so he just really wanted a daughter and to be able to experience that. And we both just kind of thought the idea of one of each sounded really cool, really, just would be neat to experience raising a child of each gender. So I started looking into gender swaying. There's a lot of methods out there. Like, one of the most popular, oldest methods you read about is sheddles, which is basically timing intercourse. And they say, like, on certain days you're more likely to conceive a boy or girl, which after doing a lot of research I found out that that's been pretty much a myth, like been completely debunked. A lot of reviews I saw from people who had done that method said that it didn't work. They had, opposites, even though a lot of people swear by it. It's basically been scientifically proven that it doesn't work. So I wanted to try something else. There's a few websites specifically for gender swaying, but the one that I found most helpful that I would point everyone to, recommend everyone to, is called Gender Dreaming. I'm not in any way affiliated with the website. I mean, I've posted on the forums, but I'm not, sponsored by them or affiliated with them in any way. I just found that site really helpful, and the gal who runs the website, who's the main moderator for all the forums and who writes all the essays and the information on there, will answer your questions personally. She takes a lot of time to do that, and just really wanting to help people on their gender swaying journey. I really appreciated that about that website, and I felt like the information there was genuine and that the methods they suggested weren't things that would harm your health or harm your baby like I had found on some other websites. It was something we kind of wanted to do for fun, just to see, oh, would it work? And like I said, we've always really wanted a daughter. But it wasn't something I was willing to take medication that would harm me or the baby or, anything like that. So I wanted something pretty natural and safe, but that would still work. So on her website, she says that the success of gender swaying following her method is about 60 to 70% of people get their desired gender, so more than half. So obviously it works because gender's 50-50. Like, you get a boy or a girl if you do nothing. Yeah, some people seem to be more predispositioned to boys or to girls, but in general it's 50-50. So obviously that's pretty good odds. It ups your odds by about 10 to 20% of getting what gender you want. And I think for boys her success rates are a little bit higher, but I'm more just specifically talking about gender swaying for a girl. So the method we followed from her website was the low everything diet, which basically what that is, it's not a starvation diet, nothing like that. It's just you're on the lower limits of what is a normal preconception diet. So for me, I did about 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day, limited fat to about 40 grams or less, and same amount for protein, I believe. I don't have anything written down in front of me, so I don't remember exactly what I did, but she has the whole outline on her website of how many grams of the protein and the fat that you should do. I didn't really count sugar, I didn't really track sugar, I didn't really track carbs. But I know it was a higher carb, lower fat, lower protein diet. I mean, not real low, but that's basically the gist of it. I drank a lot of coffee because she says that coffee helps with having a girl. When I had my son, I did not drink really any coffee. I mean, I maybe had one, usually the super sugary cappuccinos. I would have like 1 or 2 of those a month, so I wasn't a consistent coffee drinker. On the diet, I was drinking at least 2 to 4 cups of coffee a day, mostly black. I would add a little bit of cinnamon and maybe a small amount of almond milk, but it was pretty much, I was mostly doing black coffee because that's what she would recommend. On the diet, she also recommends skipping breakfast because if you keep your blood sugars lower, that's supposed to help make your body more girl-friendly. So I did that. I would just have the black coffee instead of breakfast, and then I usually delayed my first meal till about 11-ish in the morning, 11:30. I would have lunch and dinner. And the other thing with the low everything diet is you do not snack between meals, which for me was a huge change because I am such a big snacker. I'm just one of those people who grazes. I'm not somebody who likes big meals generally. I like to just eat small things throughout the day, and that's just what I've done my whole life. So that was the biggest adjustment for me, was cutting out snacking and going to just 2 to 3 meals a day. So yeah, that's basically the gist of the diet. If you want more information about the diet, of course, visit the Gender Dreaming site. I used the Low Everything Diet, so just go ahead and look that up if you want the full overview. She has a huge essay on the website explaining how to do it, explaining what it is, so I'm not going to go super into it. You can visit her website if you want more information on that. For supplements, I took fiber gummies because that's something she recommends. I did not take prenatals because prenatal vitamins or high vitamins, high fortified foods, so like things like cereal, things that just a lot of vitamins are packed into, are shown to be more boy-friendly. So I was not on prenatals. I did take folate, so that's the vitamin that's in prenatals that's important for preventing neural tube defects and things like that. So I did take folate. I believe it was 400 or maybe, I can't remember if it was 400 or 800 milligrams a day, but I took that. And the other thing I took was, and I'm probably not going to pronounce this right, I'm not sure the correct pronunciation, but myoinositol. I'm not sure. I'll try to put it in the description down below. I'll type it out. But basically what that is it's a natural thing that's supposed to help regulate your cycle, and on her website it seems like a lot of people have had good success with it for swaying for a girl. I wasn't specifically taking it to sway for a girl though. For me, I was taking it because my cycles were crazy. So I was having I had been having pretty regular cycles, but then out of the blue, I had a month where it was like a 39-day cycle, and then after that, I had like a 38-day and then like a 45-day. So I was getting these really long cycles, which was not normal for me. So I don't know if it was just being on the diet or what did that. So I started taking that myoinositol or whatever, however you pronounce it, and that seems to help. The first month I took it, I had a regular cycle, and actually that month I ended up conceiving, which I'll get into that in a second here. But yeah, I took that. So the type of that I took was called myofolate. It was a powdered drink mix. I bought it on Amazon, and I just mixed it in with like my coffee or I usually didn't do water because that tasted really bad, but I put it like in coffee or juice on occasion, but usually just my coffee. That was the other thing I was taking. That was all I took for supplements. And then my husband took olive leaf extract, and that's another thing she recommends on her site. So we just got whatever the standard brand from Walmart was, just Walmart brand of that, and he took just what was recommended on the bottle. He didn't take anything else. He did not take multivitamins, nothing, just the olive leaf. And then the only other change he made with his diet was he added in soy milk every night with dinner. So he was having about 12 ounces, sometimes 16 ounces of soy milk a day, because again, on her website she talks about how that's been shown to have an estrogen effect, so it can be helpful for the male to take that. It can be more girl friendly, so he was doing that. Other than that, he didn't really change his diet. He was just eating the meals I made, so probably a little bit lower fat, lower protein than maybe what he was having before. Neither of us eat red meat, so she does recommend more of a vegetarian diet, which we were already on because we don't eat red meat. We don't really eat much fish, occasionally chicken, occasionally fish, but not a lot of it. I mean, we're talking less than once a week we'll have that. So we do live a mostly vegetarian lifestyle, but that was the same diet I had when I had my son. So for me, I don't think that necessarily the vegetarian aspect made pink for me, but that is something they recommend. People who are big meat eaters, they would recommend that you cut back on that if you're gonna do the diet. The next thing I did was add in exercise. So I was exercising for 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 7 for an hour at a time. I got an elliptical, and I did elliptical every morning, as cardio exercise is shown to sway towards a girl. It's another thing that the gal on Gender Dreaming recommends. I keep talking about that website, but everything I got was pretty much from there, so that's why I keep referring to that. But I did exercise, but then the month that I conceived, my elliptical actually broke, so I stopped exercising. I was still doing probably 4 to 5 days a week, but I was doing YouTube videos, just dance videos, Pilates. I was just pretty much searching cardio videos, and I was doing probably like closer to 45 minutes, some days an hour, but more closer to 45 minutes. So the diet, the low everything diet, I started like 7 months before I actually conceived, and the exercise I had been on for the exercise program for 4 or 5 months before I conceived. So actually the month we conceived, we had decided that we were going to take a break. We weren't going to try that. We started kind of feeling content with one baby, and we just thought, we don't want to have a baby in the winter. We don't want a December baby, so we're going to take a break for a few months and then we'll reevaluate. So actually the month I conceived, I had lessened up on the diet. I added in a little more snacking, but I was still pretty low calories, still lots of coffee, still doing some exercise. Like I said, it was a little bit less because my elliptical broke. But, so I was still doing it, but not to the extent. So when I found out I was pregnant that month, it was a shock because we weren't trying, and it was just like completely unexpected, and I had lessened up on the sway, so I was like, well, it's probably not going to work. Not that I was super hung up on it anyway, but it was just frustrating to be so like strict on the diet and exercise and everything, and then to like let it go a little bit that month, and then of course I got pregnant. Other thing I forgot to mention, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Sorry, I know this video is all over the place, and I know I'm super out of breath. I'm 26 weeks pregnant, so that's why I'm out of breath. So I apologize for that. But to backtrack a little bit, for the plan for swaying for a girl, what I followed for timing of intercourse, you want to, what she recommends on the website, is you want to first start off with just one attempt. So she recommends using OPKs, and then when you get the positive on the OPK, you have one time where you do unprotected intercourse, and that's your one time you try that month, and then the rest of the time you want to either use protection or just abstain, so just depending on what you prefer. So I tried that for the first month that we were trying, which was like 6 months, or no, it was like 4 months before I actually got pregnant. But I couldn't get positive OPKs. I think with my irregular cycles, it just, I don't know, I couldn't get positives. I tried the clear blue, the purple advanced digitals, and I'd get the flashing, and I would just get the flashing smiley for like days, like 12 days in a row I'd get flashing, and I would never get the static, like peak fertility smiley. And like when I'd look at the cartridge, the lines on there, they were never the same darkness. So I don't know if I wasn't ovulating or if it was just weird cycles that I wasn't able to get the positive on the OPK. I'm not sure. But so we couldn't really do the one attempt method, or the one attempt at ovulation, because I couldn't figure out when I was ovulating. So from the first month that we tried, which was about 4 months before I conceived, up until the month before I conceived, so for like 3 months in there, what the gal who runs the Gender Dreaming website, what she recommended we do was just have unprotected intercourse every 4 days, because that's similar to one attempt, because sperm only lives for a certain amount of time. So if you're only doing it every 4 days, there's not much like buildup in there, I guess. That sounds really gross, but yeah. So we were doing that, but then the month I conceived, like I said, we weren't trying. The only days that we did unprotected intercourse that month were like day 7 of my cycle, day 9 of my cycle, and day 17 of my cycle, which based off the ultrasound, that I had an early ultrasound with this pregnancy, my dates were right on track with my last period. So I likely ovulated around sometime between the 13th and the 15th day, just based off the early ultrasound, because they said that early ultrasounds are accurate for dating a pregnancy within a couple days, and that's usually right, that it's like 2 to 3 days accuracy. So I'm thinking it was like a one attempt kind of thing, because probably I got pregnant from the attempt on day 9, I'm guessing, because I think the attempt on day 17 would have been way too late, just based off ultrasound dating and where babies measured consistently on ultrasounds. Probably from the day 9, so it probably was more like a one attempt kind of thing, but I don't know. I don't know if it was a cutoff. I don't know anything about the timing, but what's recommended if you're going to do the sway method, like I said, shuttles doesn't really work. I mean, maybe my timing was like a multiple day cutoff like a shuttles thing, but I honestly don't think that had an impact on it. I mean, who knows? Swaying's all mainly speculation anyway. But yeah, what you want to do, especially if you have a regular cycle and you can time it, is to try to do that one attempt at the positive OBK, because that's the most effective, that's the highest results. If you search around, that's what's been proven that works. So that's what I would recommend if you're wanting to do a pink sway. Anyway, kind of back to what I was talking about. So that was pretty much everything we did. I can't think of anything else. So just the diet, the exercise, and then, like I said, for us, timing, there really wasn't any. I think that's pretty much everything we did to sway. We are having a girl. You can probably see behind me the pink wall. I'm currently sitting in her nursery. So our sway was successful. If gender swaying is something you're interested in, I would just recommend doing your research. I would recommend starting the diet and the exercise at least a few months before you actually want to try to have a baby. Just recommend not getting too strict about it, not getting too hung up on it, and just trusting it to God's hands, that even when you sway, you can't decide the gender of your baby. You might be influencing it a little bit towards one direction or tipping the scales, but you ultimately can't choose the baby that you're given. So no matter what you do, I think you have to go into it with that open mindset of just, I want to have a baby, I'm excited for a baby regardless if it's a boy or a girl, and that's the mindset you have to have. Of course, we're super excited that we're having a girl. Like I said, we would have been fine with either, and this was pretty unexpected anyway. So having a baby in December, like we didn't want to, and it's gonna be okay. Like I said, it's just all God's plan. He has a greater plan than I do, so I'm just trying to accept that and get excited for this little girl. I hope this video was helpful. I hope this kind of gave you more insight to gender swaying and what I did. If you have any questions about my sway or swaying in general, you can leave them down below if you want, but like I said, I really recommend that you go to the Gender Dreaming website if it's something you're interested in. That website is amazing. The forums are great on there. Everybody's super supportive of each other, and it's just a great group of people, and it's an awesome resource if that's something you're interested in. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video.